A Perth household has found the planet's senior named communication in a bottling, nearly 132 years following it was deserted in the ocean, Australia expert tell. Tanya Illman selected up the bottling time departure for a go about grit dunes on a remotely bathing beach in Western Australia. Expert include affirmed it is an authoritative communication of a Deutsche vessel. The mention in the bottling, that was dated back June 12, 1886, was jettisoned of the Deutsche vessel Paula, as portion of an experimental in-sea and navigation means of communication by the Deutsche Marine Observatory. The Illman household were drive via a bathing beach polar of Spike Isle on January 21 while the car became bogged downward in the grit, and Mrs. Illman and her boyfriend solved to go for a go. She found and selected up the bottling, thought it would be pleasant for her bookshelf, he added. Mr. Illman told his woman on the bottling to our child's friend, who saw which she mind was a rolling up smoke, and tilted it out in the grit. Tanya tested to unleash the line about the document, but it was quite brittle, so we took it household and put it in the stove for 5 protocol to dry up the humidity. Later we deployed it and saw published written. We could not see the brush spelled ink at house spot, but saw a published communication how requested the female readers to pin the Deutsche Consular Agency while they found the mention. After, they as well noted weak script on the mention, in a day of June 12, 1886 and the behalf of the vessel, Paula. While they saw the day they mind it was too much distant fetched to be actual, Mr. Illman told, but they investigated the bottling on the internet and took it to expert at the West Australia Museum. Extremely, an archive searching in Germany found Paula's unique weather magazine and down there was an accession for June 12, 1886 done by the skipper, record a drifting bottling possessing been deserted overside. The day and the coordinates match precisely in such on the bottling communication, Dr. Anderson told. The script on the magazine, and the communication in the bottling, as well match, he added. Thousands of bottles were deserted overside for the 69-year Deutsche experimental, but today just 662 messages, and no bottles, had been refundable. The recent bottling in a mention to be found was in Denmark in 1934. The bottling found on Spike Isle was found generally vulnerable out of any shape of tube or closing, and was on a block complete of dampness grit, and the bottling emerging to include laid, buried or generally buried, partly imbued in dampness grit, Dr. Anderson added. Grit dunes in the region are rather portable for tempest events and hard rainfall, so the bottling could include been object to cyclic periods of exposition that could include led to the tube in the bottling dry out and proper displaced, time the tight rolling document on in a number of grit remained within canned. Same tight 7 mm drill of the bottling discovery and heavy window would include assisted to clipboard and retain the document of the effects of complete exposition to the beginnings, provided a protection microhabitat favorable to the document's length term conservation, the paper added. The Illman household include financed the Discover to the West Australia Museum for the following 2 years, and it will be on screen to the Social of Environment. WA Secretary for Civilization and the Arts David Templeman told he was impressed in the lending edition. It is really an spectacular discover and thanks to the beautiful world and multidisciplinary collaboration of scientific and study, it can now as well be share in the planet. To believe how the bottling has not been affected for almost 132 years and is in ultimate state, in spite the beginnings, beggars faith. I'm yet trembling.